In the late 1960s, a shadow fell over Northern California. A predator was loose on the roads, hunting couples in the dark. But this wasn't just another killer. This was a man who wanted an audience. He didn't just outrun the police, he mocked them. He sent cryptic letters to major newspapers filled with complex ciphers, bloody pieces of clothing, and terrifying threats. He promised that if his codes weren't printed on the front page, he would kill again. He signed his letters with a crosshair symbol and called himself the Zodiac. He claimed to have taken 37 lives, though police have only confirmed 5. And the most terrifying part? Despite decades of investigation, modern DNA testing, and amateur sleuths dedicating their entire lives to the case, his true identity remains officially unknown. Who was the Zodiac? How did he completely evade justice? And what did his final, unbroken codes actually say? Let's dive into the full, unsettling story. The horror began just days before Christmas in 1968. High school students David Faraday and Betty Lou Jensen were on their first official date. They parked at a well-known lover's lane on Lake Herman Road. Out of the darkness, another car pulled up beside them. A man stepped out, wielding a pistol. Within minutes, both teenagers were dead. The police were baffled. There was no clear motive, no robbery, and no suspects. 6 months later, on Independence Day, the killer struck again, just 4 miles away. Darlene Ferrin and Michael Mageau were sitting in a parked car when a flashlight blinded them. A man stepped out of a vehicle, walked up to the passenger side, and opened fire. Michael miraculously survived multiple gunshot wounds. Darlene did not. But this time the killer did something new. At 12:40 a.m., a payphone rang at the Vallejo Police Department. A calm, chilling voice spoke to the dispatcher. "I wish to report a double murder. If you will go 1 mile east on Columbus Parkway to a public park, you will find the kids in a brown car. They were shot with a 9mm Luger. I also killed those kids last year. Goodbye." The game had officially begun. On July 31st, 1969, the editorial rooms of 3 San Francisco newspapers received identical, terrifying letters. They began with a phrase that would haunt California for decades. "Dear editor, I am the killer of the 2 teenagers last Christmas." Each letter contained 1/3 of a 408-character cipher. The killer demanded they be printed on the front page, or he would cruise the weekend killing lone people in the night. The papers printed them. The public went into a frenzy. A week later, another letter arrived, explicitly naming himself for the first time. "This is the Zodiac speaking." It took a school teacher and his wife just a few days to crack that first 408-character cipher. When decoded, it revealed a window into pure madness. It read, "I like killing people because it is so much fun. It is more fun than killing wild game in the forest because man is the most dangerous animal of all." But the Zodiac wasn't done. He attacked again in broad daylight in September 1969 at Lake Berryessa, wearing a bizarre hooded executioner's costume with his crosshair symbol stitched to the chest. He tied up college students Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard before stabbing them repeatedly. Brian survived to describe the terrifying outfit. Cecilia tragically passed away. A month later, the Zodiac shot taxi driver Paul Stein in San Francisco. This was his final confirmed murder. To prove he did it, he mailed a blood-stained piece of Stein's shirt to the San Francisco Chronicle, proving he could walk among the city streets completely undetected. By the mid-1970s, the letters stopped. The Zodiac went silent. Decades passed, turning the active investigation into one of history's coldest cases. Hundreds of suspects were investigated, most notably a man named Arthur Lee Allen, who fit much of the circumstantial evidence, but whose prints and DNA never matched the crime scenes. But the mystery didn't end there. The Zodiac had left behind a second, incredibly complex puzzle known as the Z340 cipher. For 51 years, the world's greatest military and civilian cryptographers tried to break it and failed. Until December 2020, a team of 3 amateur codebreakers from the US, Australia, and Belgium finally cracked the Z340 cipher using custom-built software. The decoded message was a chilling reminder of the killer's arrogance from beyond the grave. I hope you are having lots of fun in trying to catch me. I am not afraid of the gas chamber because it will send me to paradise all the sooner, because I now have enough slaves to work for me. Because the Zodiac used a complex transposition cipher, meaning the letters were shifted diagonally rather than horizontally, it lay unreadable for half a century. But even with the code broken, it gave no real names, no identities. Today, the Zodiac Killer is likely dead or a very elderly man hiding in plain sight. He created a legacy of terror through the mail, turning his horrific crimes into a grim pop culture puzzle that may never truly be solved. He promised we would never catch him, and so far, he was right.